thanks to you, and hello everyone, and thanks for wanting to be here. Let's start from the title, Towards an Engineering Research. Why this title? First of all, because I think we are very near to a research revolution, as in this year's new MR pointed out. So we are using new media, and we have to think about new opportunities for market research. This is the agenda. I will start from questions that we well know. After that, we will discuss about a new methodology, also showing two case study, and at the end, a new opportunity generated by the combination among methodologies, not only to pre or post test advertising, but also contribute to its creation according to creativity. Okay, let's start with some questions. One in particular, searching inside new media, how can we go beyond sentiment analysis that, provides us with positive and neutral, negative reaction? This is the main question. Let's go on. Okay. Let's see in this session, we will see a new methodology that seems to me pertinent, suitable to social media. The synergy between semiotic analysis and the lexicographic software based on mathematical algorithms able to give a quantitative basis to qualitative data. That's a sort of transformation of qualitative texts into quantitative data. Okay. First of all, how can we use a text scope, and what can I get from it? I usually use the text scope following two logics. I name the first the microscope logic, and the second the telescope logic. In my research process, I also have to consider, as you well know, two strategies of analysis: Fisher and photographer strategies based on my initial hypothesis that I want to put forward. Okay, I'm presenting now the first case study. We carried out a study with the aim of looking for innovation signals and codes. Our client is a leading Italian hypermarket. Okay. Looking for the signals of innovation, we opened a blog, 2-week lasting. Inside that, clients of the main hypermarkets were free to discuss each other about Carrefour Planet and Auchan. So the first week was about Auchan's clients, and the second about Carrefour Planet. We were looking for the new forms of hypermarkets, patterns of innovation. Okay. In this case, we used a telescope logic to have an overall vision, and a Fisher's strategy to look for new hypotheses. First of all, I apologize for the excess of graphic elements, but I had to insert labels to give you the translation in English, as you can see. I followed the telescope logic, wanting to get new hypotheses and to have a global vision on what clients were talking about. So this map represents one of the results to be interpreted by semiotics. The text scope told us we have 4 clusters, as you can see, first, second, third, and fourth. The cluster number 1 here, named place, represents the hypermarkets characterized because they are a place inside where people feel good, where spaces are well defined, where the organization is strong and visible. Then the cluster number 2 is talking about chaotic area. I mean spaces characterized through chaos and confusion. Such a lot of stuff inside where people feel and perceive disorganization. So going on, the cluster number 3 and number 4 represent not only what people can see, the expression, but mainly how they feel themselves when walking and acting inside the hypermarket, the content. In particular, the third represents the well-being, I mean, to do shopping. And the number 4, the uneasiness to buy. I don't like buying, and I like shopping. Given the overall interpretation of the map, we can consider, as you can see, 4 great dimensions. The aesthetic one, expression of hypermarket, and the dimension of feeling, content and meaning about the hypermarkets. At the right side, you can see the innovation, the tomorrow, and the current situation today. In this specific case, the software allows to obtain and explore a representation of corpus contents through few and significant thematic clusters, each of whom described through lexical units, words, lemmas, etc., and variables. Here you can see the most representative word of each cluster. The procedure is based on co-occurrence analysis, quantities which result from a computation of how many times 2 or more lexical units are present together in the same elementary context. Let's think how it's important not only to know the consumption phenomena after they occurred, but to predict them before they happen. This is the key role of this method, and this is what we experimented. Let's go on the next. Okay, this is another kind of analysis. In this case, we used the logic of microscope, focusing on details, and the photographer's strategy, trying to understand a specific phenomena. In this case, we are looking for which lexical units are typical or exclusive. You can see here, typical or exclusive in a text. The text scope enables us to check which lexical units are typical or exclusive, yes, and in this specific case, we can see that Carrefour Planet, at the left, gets as specific meaning organization. Ocean, at the right side, discount, prices, and so on. So, Ocean is characterized by discount and Carrefour by organization. If our mind go back to the previous map, it's easy to consider Carrefour as a major place clusters symbol. Okay, this is another kind of association of analysis, and it's analysis of the word association inside the corpus. In this case, the logic is of the microscope, focusing on details, and the strategy is for the photographer to understand a specific phenomena. In this case, we go ahead focusing on the meaning of innovation. You can see in this map using the microscope logic. As you can see, innovation is care, is place, well organized, well defined, is also fashion, and is division of each single space. At the opposite side, dated, not fashion, the residual codes, means tight spaces. Tight spaces, loss of time when you buy and you waste your time, high cost, compared to the perceived quality of what I'm buying. Okay. At the end, why the final question is why people love so much Carrefour Planet. Because Carrefour Planet gives to the client the feeling of to be in a shop with its values, heritage. That's why people love it. You can see Carrefour reproduces the feeling of to be in a shop. Okay. Okay, in this case, we try to position the main brand of the hypermarkets world. In this map, we went on trying to position these hypermarkets, and as you can easily see, Carrefour here is the icon of the most interesting in terms of innovation cluster, the third cluster, to go shopping. More than Auchan. Okay, so we can easily say that Carrefour is the most innovative hypermarket, while the other hypermarkets are positioned in a lower area of innovation. What I see becoming and the logic of quality, okay, in the tomorrow space. This is a strange and really nice case study. It's still in progress. The client is Italian Bishops' Conference, and the aim of this project is to understand the use and communication of priests and sisters inside Facebook. Okay. Here you can see the most representative words inside the priests and sisters discourses within the topics, And we went on naming the areas of the map, understanding the communication style. There are 4 great dimensions, 2 of which relating to topics and aims of communication. Priest and sister, who talk about tradition, parish life, typically use Facebook to communicate and socialize at the right side. That's a kind of peer-to-peer communication. Those who speak of innovation at the left side generally use Facebook to spread information, and that's a sort of top-down communication. 2 great dimensions relating to subjectivity and inner feeling. Top of map, when the subjectivity tends to wanting to be, priests and sisters talk about their Catholic life. For example, to help people, to teach the Bible. So you can see this sister every day talks about how to help others. Okay. And then below the map, when the subjectivity tends to having to be, the sense of duty, priests and sisters talk about the Catholic rituals, sacraments, the commitments of the church, and so on. Okay, this work is still in progress, so I don't have so many slides at the moment. Let's go on. I would like to give the floor to Cristina Laura Masetti, that is our intercultural communication account. that is very, very engaged in advertising research. Okay, I pass the floor.
Thanks, Stefania. Okay, sorry. I'd like to start by saying that I'm so incredibly pleased and honored to be attending and speaking at the new MR Festival. Well, I don't have all day or night, whatever may be, so let's go straight to the point. In conducting our research through innovation and synergy methods, we experience that semiotic analysis can be used not only for descriptive communication purposes, but also to develop ambitious projects. Therefore, over the past few months, we haven't used research models as much after the creative work from advertisers, pre- and post-testing in relation to advertising campaigns, but rather before the creative idea giving a cultural interpretation of consumption phenomena in order to find new communication ideas based on the solidity of empirical knowledge. Semiotics and the software for lexicographic analysis play a support role in the advertising campaign as they explore in advance new trends, new languages, symbolic values, and discursive strategies. We should not forget that the work of semioticians and creatives shows in many ways high affinity. Here we present a case study where we collected all material available online, taken from teenagers' free speech, highlighting their thoughts, feeling, and behavior that can impact on fashion. We gathered together speeches, written compositions in school, blog comments, all that we generally use to conduct a cultural study. Textual data have been first processed by lexicographic software and then selected for a semiotic and anthropological analysis. Eventually, the concept we defined was independence, the word written in red, as you can see here in this slide. I apologize, the text is in Italian, so I will try to explain it briefly. Here is an example of a composition written by teenagers, talking fashion, buying behavior, and teenagers' views on the importance of fashion. One of the most important symbols of independence is clothing. In the past, teens got inspired by top fashion companies that dictated trends. Today, teens have found their own style and their own way without being told what they can and can't wear. But they have also fallen into the trap of fashion industry. Designer clothes cost twice as much as a piece of clothing without a label. So, their desire for independence has been annulled. And here you see one group against society rules and standards, and the other one well integrated into society. So against, and the other one well integrated. Two opposite senses of independence. It has been a very good experience that guided and inspired the art director to search innovative, creative ways constructed on scientific basis. He created a new advertising campaign and a new brand image for one of the most famous and appreciated Italian fashion companies. Unfortunately, for reasons of privacy, we are not allowed to use or disclose any information about the advertising campaign, but we are confident you will have a look at it soon. Thanks for your attention.